Well, the words, "I am Dracula," I wanted to channel a little of the Transylvanian voice, but by and large, my favorite Dracula is Christopher Lee, who has a British sound. My father was the biggest influence for Dracula, who had a mid-Atlantic sound. What I didn't want to do was have a goofy Transylvanian sound in the role, so I thought my father, whom I channeled in a little movie I made called Vampire's Kiss, was a great starting point for the way this Dracula speaks. You know, let me explain something to you, okay?
Well, obviously you go back to the novel a lot to figure out how Renfield began as a character and as a person, and then the 31 film is brilliant because Dwight Frye's performance is so iconic. So stealing things from that when I can. I love his laugh, obviously, and that's such a piece of the character, so trying to pepper that in. But then this is also 100 years later, so I mean, that's very kind of you to say that they feel like bookends, because it's then thinking, you know, how have these characters developed over that time, and that's what I loved with what Nick did to it. You know, he brings a lot of these two characters, you know, they're together, and but they love each other, and they also are tormenting each other, and there's so much hurt even in Dracula for what Renfield does to him, trying to escape him. So there's a lot to unpack emotionally, I think, between them.
Well, it was just more of a reaffirmation, if you will, that so much can be conveyed with voice and just your eyes, that even though I'm under 20 pounds of makeup, the performance still can come through with voice and eyes. That's really what I learned from it. Well, yeah, and that was important. Thank you for noticing that. We had a fantastic makeup artist, Christian Tinsley, and he's the one that really designed the look. But we both designed together that it would still manage to get some communication through the eyes, which is why I didn't want to wear too many contacts. I wanted the eyes to still talk.
I think for Renfield, when he's first under Dracula's control, there's a wildness and a craziness to him in the novel at times, where he's kind of losing a little bit of his senses. And I think for this story, I think he's that crazy. It's like the beginning of a love, when all your chemicals inside of your brain are playing up and you're not really sure what's going on. I think that chemical release has died down for him, so he's more subdued than those roles.
Well, I think it was more just really trying to find the tone. I'm trying to find this bullseye between comedy and horror, which I don't think has been explored that much. I was often thinking about American Werewolf in London, and that's a bullseye Chris McKay and I really wanted to hit. So I was always trying to be conscious of the tone of this particular piece. It's an R-rated fantasy, but it's hilarious, and that's a balance that you have to find. And thankfully, Nick is someone who has tremendous wit and comic timing, so we were able to riff off of each other. I was always thinking about that.
I love that.
Bad news, just stay off your cell phone. Don't Google yourself. Don't take phone calls. Just be on set and focus.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just self-preservation a little bit as well, right? Kind of worrying too much about yourself instead of the character.